Okay, good morning, everyone. Shalom Aleichem. Good Chodesh, Adar Sheni. And we are back. We're going to be learning this week and next week, Bezrat Hashem, on Monday. We'll be learning the 6th chapter of Megillas Esther, which is very, very exciting. And so often we begin at the beginning, or like you know from the Megillah. So I think it's the past few years we've been trying to learn different parts of the Megillah, going, forward each and every year with another chapter. So where are we in Perek Vav in Megillas Esther? We're definitely towards the end of the story, meaning that the entire Megillah is a total of 10 chapters. This is chapter 6. So it's the second half just by psukim-wise. But also, things start to move now very, very fast. Chapter 4 is where Mordechai is sitting in the Shar HaMelech, wearing sak ve'efer. He's crying out, trying to express the point that the Jewish people are in a dire situation and things are going to get worse if there's no intervention. He convinces Esther in a moving way that she needs to take the reins. The Jewish people are going to last forever no matter what. But it is up to you. Hashem placed you in this position under Achashverosh to do something. She rallies together the troops to daven for 3 days and fast, while she's going to prepare to go into the Shar HaMelech unannounced. And that's exactly what she does in chapter 5. In chapter 5, in a very dramatic fashion, I believe this is what we learned last year together. Chapter 5, she dramatically goes in, and at the risk of her life, right? This is like a kamikaze pilot. This is somebody like landing in Gaza with gunfire all around you, and you're going to go in. And what are you going to do? What are you going to say? And Achashverosh is just astounded. And it is shocking when we pay attention to the words of what Esther asks Achashverosh. We would think, and Mordechai, I think, assumed this, she would say right then and there, by the way, I'm a Jew. By the way, you're going to murder all my people. I'm included in those people. And please save us right now and stop this decree. She says nothing of the matter. She only asks Achashverosh to invite him to a party, right? They did not have paperless post back then. They did have mail, but she said, I want to personally invite you to a party with 2 people, 3 in total. You and Haman are going to be my guests at a party. She invites Haman to the party. Haman goes home all pumped up and excited, because if now the queen is on his good side, then there's no stopping him. He goes home and shares this with his wife, Zeresh. And they come up with a plan that, you know what, I think the time is right. We need to get rid of this guy, Mordechai. He is too annoying. He's doing too many bad things. Let's get rid of him. And I think that no one's going to stop you. Nobody is going to stop you right now. And they say, let's build a tree that is 50 amos high. I don't think you build a tree. I'm not sure if they had to erect or put together a tree, or they found a tree. It's 50 amos high. And Zeresh told his wife, tomorrow morning, go to Achashverosh and tell him about the tree, and Shalom Al Yisrael, or not Shalom Al Yisrael, but things, and everything. That's where chapter 5 ends, right? Chapter 5 ends where Haman is on a high. Esther is maneuvering things. We don't know what she's doing. She does. The Jewish people are likely confused because they think if they davened, they had a kenes tefillah for 3 days straight, and Esther went in, they're just waiting for a word. And if the word isn't coming, then they're at least confused, if not frustrated. Well, how do you think Achashverosh is feeling at this moment? In one word, what do you think the emotion of Achashverosh is? How is he feeling right now? What would you think? Everybody still sleeping from the clock change? Could be. It's likely, and we'll see this, I'll argue that he is very confused. And that's where we're going to begin right now with Perek Vav. Balayla hahu nadada shnas hamelech. Some current biblical scholars argue that the entire Megillah is written in a chiastic structure, and the top of the chiastic structure is this pasuk of Balaylahu Nadada Shnas HaMelech. A very good Baal Koreh is going to read this pasuk, laying this pasuk, like we say it Hamelech on Yamin Narayim. Balaylahu Nadada Shnas HaMelech. Okay, Mayeski's going to be laning and Shul. He's going to do it. So this night, he was twisting and turning. Achashverosh himself could not sleep. Vayomer lahavia sefer zichronos. And he said, this is just amazing. It shows you that just Malchus in general, it's the middle of the night. He doesn't say this to anybody. Vayomer le'na'arav, Vayomer le'ishto, Vayomer to somebody. He just says, can somebody bring me the Sefer Zichronos, the Divrei Hayamim, the book of remembrances of my life, of the kingship, and can someone read them for me? Within a second, people like artists beck and call, as if to say, it seems like people are just watching this king sleep. Right? Or they're in the other room waiting for any request. I don't know if this speaks to Achashverosh's ego, or this is just the way that kings did things back then, and the way that people treated kings back then. I am not sure. Balayla hahu nadada shnas hamelech. Says Rashi. Nadada shnas hamelech. Nes haya. Achashverosh can't sleep. It's a miracle. I'm not going to go around the room right now and ask everybody who had trouble sleeping last night, who woke up at 3:00 in the morning to get a cup of water, or maybe to turn over, and then woke up again at 4 and at 6, and at the front of the side, when am I going to actually wake up for the day? This is a miracle that Achashverosh can't sleep. Okay, we don't know how old he is. Maybe, I don't know, he's in the younger side, and maybe he can sleep better, typically. Nes haya. What does that mean, Nes haya? What in the world does that mean? Maybe we'll get back to that. The Yeshomrim, and some explain, why couldn't he sleep? Sam el libo al shezimna Esther's Haman. He can't sleep because he can't get it out of his head. Why would Esther risk her life to invite me to party with Haman? And when we have a thought that we go to sleep with that is not complete and is not resolved, it's very difficult to sleep. And your mind takes you to really bad places sometimes. And we have to train ourselves that we are not our mind, we are not our thoughts, they are just thoughts, and they're not real. Al shezimna Esther's Haman shamanasnan eineha bo v'yahargehu. He is afraid that Esther and Haman are a couple. They're together, and they're plotting to murder the king. And how would they do it? They would invite him to a party, get him lushed up, and then murder him. So he is up at night and he's like all in his head. And these thoughts are going to move the story forward. He's really playing right into Esther's hand. Esther wanted him to think about these thoughts.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Is he suffering from a little bit of a paranoia here?
Well, is this now or is this always?
Always.
Who said that, honey?
Yeah. Yeah, we said he was
Always
very
looking over
insecure.
his shoulder.
Right, yeah.
Always looking over his shoulder. That's why people are outside while he's sleeping. That's why this is there. He's like always guarded, always nervous. He's always
Always.
doesn't
Okay, good.
trust anybody. That's my take. I don't think he ever trusted anybody.
He doesn't trust anybody, right? So
Nope.
this is just so Esther knew that. Esther was his top wife. So
I don't know how much she knew. I don't know how much he confided in her. Said she was the top wife. I think he kept everybody at a distance. I don't
Okay.
think he confided in her.
No. You don't need to be confided in to get a picture of somebody, right? You need to just be a little bit smart and aware of human behavior. Yeah, Jay Hersham, what were we going to say?
No, we said this last week. He doesn't come from aristocracy. He was always insecure.
He was always insecure, right? On some level, he's always insecure, and on some level, like he rebelled against his government to take over the kingship. So, what's to say that someone else is not going to do the same thing, right? It's not so far. It's not such a crazy jump for that to be a reality here, right? So he is nervous. He's nervous. The Ibn Ezra points out that whenever the Medrash writes this, whenever the Megillah writes the word Hamelech, the king, that also refers to Malcho She'olam. It also refers to the Ribono She'olam. It says the Ibn Ezra something very, very beautiful. Bidrash nas Malcho She'olam. In the Drash, the Medrash will say that Hashem couldn't sleep at night. Batam Shashem lo yashin, rak shomer Yisrael. What do we say? We said it this morning, Tehillim Kuf Chaf Aleph. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. No, Hashem doesn't sleep. Why doesn't Hashem sleep? Because he is keeping one eye open on the Jewish people, on his most prized possession. So he's saying here on a deeper level, Hashem is also not sleeping. The Tiv HaMoadim, Rabbi Gamliel Rabinovich quotes the Targum Yonasan ben Uziel, and who writes that everybody involved in this story also couldn't sleep. Esther was unable to sleep. She was nervous about what's going to happen the next day at the second party. Mordechai couldn't sleep because Mordechai was also concerned what's going to be. He's waiting to hear word back from Esther, and we see that there's been no communication between the two of them. She had risked her life, and he doesn't know what has happened. He's trying to find out, but he doesn't know. And who else can't sleep? Haman can't sleep. We're going to meet Haman in a moment in this episode as to why he can't sleep. So I'm not going to share it right now, but everybody in this chevra, right, in this group, is unable to sleep at this present moment. So he says, you know what? What's going to help me go to sleep? Tell me a story. Read me the book of the Sefer HaZichronos. V'yamatzei kasuv al asher higid Mordechai al bigsan of Teresh, shnei sarisei hamelech. And they get up to the page where Mordechai saved the king's life. Bigsan and Teresh were planning and plotting to murder the king. And it didn't happen. Why? Because Mordechai found out about it and told the right people, and he saved his life. And as we know, no reward was given to Mordechai. And maybe this is what Rashi means by Nes Haya. Nes Haya means, this is not the typical Nes where there was a Kriyas Yamsuf involved, or the entire Achashverosh's army was killed in one night, miraculously. No. This sequence of events, just on its own, is a tremendous miracle. And we don't look at it that way because we see it it's masked within nature. But the fact that Achashverosh couldn't sleep at night, combined with the fact that they turned the page to the page in which Mordechai never got rewarded, to the fact that Haman is going to be knocking on the door in a moment, all of that, all those confluence of events together, is nothing short of a miracle. It's a miracle. These are the miracles that we very often experience in our lives. I can't believe, right? How'd you meet your spouse? Oh, well, how'd I meet him? This happened and that happened and that. If one of those things was just off by a moment, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Nesaya. So Rashi's telling us, like, you don't need to look further than this right here. You know, the stars that literally needed to be aligned for this story to move forward to help the Jewish people. Vayomer HaMelech, Ma na'aseh? Yakar gdula leMordechai al zeh. What kavod did we give Mordechai for saving my life? The king knows that there are so many people, you said it yourself, that want to kill me. I need to reward the people that saved my life and build that up. That's so important to me, right? Even from a selfish perspective, Achashverosh wants to reward the people that are saving his life, to let it be known that that's a positive thing. So Vayomer Na'arei HaMelech Mashar Sav Lo Na'asa Imo Davar. Nothing's written down over here, guy. I don't know what to tell you. We dropped the ball. We did not do anything for him. Lo Na'asa Imo Davar. We didn't do anything for him. And I guess, right, we owe him a reward. We owe him something. Lo Na'asa Imo Davar. Okay. Vayomer HaMelech. Mi bachatzer, right? This comes out of nowhere because we don't know that there's somebody in the courtyard, but presumably, we could only presume over here. Why is Achashverosh asking mi bachatzer? Who is in the courtyard? What?
Because he's paranoid.
Okay, so Hani is going to go further in her shita straight throughout that she's paranoid. So he's always asking, did anyone check the courtyard outside? Did anyone do guard duty there and pace around and check if anybody is there? Which could likely be, right? Or he heard a knock at the door. He heard that somebody is at the door. And it's like so weird. It's the middle of the night, and now you're having a party. Who is at my door? Mi bachatzer. So the Malbim here writes something very important. So why was Haman coming right now? Why couldn't we left this out? Why couldn't Haman sleep? Haman couldn't sleep because his wife gave him a brilliant idea. Murder Mordechai in the public on a tree that is 50 amos high for everybody to see, and you have Achashverosh in your hands. The queen loves you, the king loves you. You're the prime minister, he's the king. You ask him now. So Zeresh had to come to him in the morning. Achashverosh couldn't sleep at night. Haman couldn't sleep at night. I'm so excited to get rid of Mordechai. I'm so excited to kill another Jew. I can't sleep. I have the chutzpah to go to the king in the middle of the night. See, technically, this is something that can wait till the morning. But for Haman, he is so excited that he walks in person. He doesn't send a messenger, goes in person to Achashverosh to tell him his amazing plan about killing Mordechai. Says the Malbim, Modia Tokev Hanes, Shelo Haya Tiv'i, Rak Hashkachi. This shows you the miracle because this was beyond nature. This is much more, you see Hashem's divine providence, his hand moving, God's hand moving things along. Ki ba'oso harega b'Haman litploses Mordechai. At this moment, Haman wants to kill Mordechai. What's Achashverosh's feeling about Mordechai right this second?
It's good. Likes him.
You'll
Saved his life.
save his life. So it's going to be very strange now if Haman comes in to tell him about the evil guy Mordechai that we need to kill right now. If he saved his life and he never paid him back, he can't do that. And now put two and two together. Now, the day before, Esther invites him to a party with Haman. He's already thinking in his head that Haman and Esther maybe are together. Now Haman's coming to me now to kill a guy that saved my life. So the Malbim says, "Misabed hasibos kvar hechin lo kli mavis." Right. So you see that at this moment, the exact tool that Haman's so excited for is going to end up getting himself killed. And if he maybe even would have waited till the morning, what would have happened? They would have had a plan. They would have wrote it out. This is how we're rewarding him. Do me a favor. Send him something from my treasury. And he wakes up in the morning and Achashverosh is done and he's on to the next thing. And things, maybe it would have shifted his perspective on Mordechai, but Haman can't wait.
Rabbi,
Yeah, Shiur, go ahead.
goes there, he is in the middle of the night. He doesn't know ahead of time that the king is awake. So it's a little unusual, but I guess it shows Haman's craziness, is that he doesn't think twice about, oh, I'm going to go in the middle of the night and wake up the king.
100%. He has it's so chutzpahdik.
Yeah.
Right? From his, or he's not thinking that way. Most of the time, right? When people do things that are so wrong or off script, let's say it in a nicer way, they're so self-consumed, they're so selfish, they're within their own mind that whatever they do, they're like, of course it's okay. You know, what am I doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? This is ridiculous. How can you wake up the king in the middle of the night? This is not an emergency. You can kill Mordechai tomorrow morning and it would also be okay. So because of Haman, right, see what Esther did, and this is like the brilliance of it, is that she put pressure on a situation where there was no pressure. And when you put pressure, then everybody very often goes back into their emotions that they have, and they get more into their own mindset. So Achashverosh becomes more paranoid. Haman becomes more arrogant, more self-centered. And that is a bad cocktail for making good decisions, right? So Esther, the brilliance of her is that she's playing off of two people in such an amazing way to save the Jewish people. Vayavo Haman. So, sorry, we didn't finish pasuk. Hine Haman b'chatzer, vayomar melach yavo. Come in, join the party. We're all awake. I don't know. I'm sure some people remember this. You have one kid that wakes up in the middle of the night. He jumps into bed, and you're like, "Who's now at the door?" Oh, okay, jump in. It's a party. So it's a slumber party right now. And Achashverosh is saying, "Jump into bed. Haman, what's up with you? What's going on? Let's do our hair, right?" Vayomer Haman. So Haman comes in. Vayomer lo hamelech malasos va'ish asher hamelech chavetz bikaro. So Haman is feeling really good about himself and really good about his ideas. And in his mind, he thinks, Achashverosh thinks he's the best guy in the whole world. But he comes in the middle of a conversation in which they're trying to figure out the best reward for Mordechai. And he doesn't know this. So Achashverosh walks in, Haman walks in, he says to him, what do you think we should reward the person that the king loves the most? And you can't, maybe you feel bad a little bit for Haman, like he just set up so perfectly. You don't have to feel bad for him at all. Vayomer Haman belibo. Vayomer Haman belibo. Haman, what does it mean, belibo? He thinks it. He doesn't say it, but he says, who is greater for the king? Who's the best asset in the world for the king? More than me. It's got to be me. Right? I'm sure the Lion King song, I just can't wait to be king, is playing in the background. Says the Medrash something amazing about this language. Vayomer Hamelech bilibo. There are two ways to express that I am thinking something in the Torah. Lachashov or choshev is not used often in the Torah in this way. It's either Vayomer el libo, he said to his heart, or Vayomer bi libo, in his heart. The Medrash writes that, let's see if I can pull it up. The Medrash writes that tzaddikim are in control. Arishayim b'rishus libam. The lave, according to Chazal, is a seat of all of our emotions. And they write that the Rishayim are in b'rishus libam. Their lave is in control of them. Their emotions are in control of them. And how do you see this? Vayomer Esav bilibo. Esav speaks bilibo, in his heart. Vayom Vamar Naval bilibo. Naval also. Yeravam, Haman, for the Mount Rushmore of evil people. Avalat tzadikim libam yirashusam. But tzaddikim, their emotion, they're in control of their emotions. Who do we see this about? Chana speaks on her heart. Daniel al libo. David el libo. Hashem, Vayomer Hashem el libo. But there's a big difference here. Are you in control of your emotions, or your emotions in control of you? Haman now is speaking completely emotionally. And perhaps this is the way he's always living his life, completely with his emotions. Vayomer Haman is in his head and saying, of course, what should I get? Thank you so much. Vayomer Haman el Hamelech, Ish Asher Hamelech Hafetz Bikaro. The man in who the king loves so much, right? Period. That's not even a sentence, right? Pasuk is not even a sentence. But Haman himself is being so dramatic right now, like Ish Asher Hamelech Hafetz Bikaro, right? Yaviu levush malchus Asher lavash bo Hamelech. Right? Because Haman wants to be the king. I just can't wait to be king. I want to be the king. So I am thinking, what is the way for me to show the nation that I'm the king? Right? This is very, very important. We're in the middle of a presidential race right now between two presidents, potential presidents. Actually, they both are president, former and current, that are on the elderly side, right? The two oldest presidents, I think, in history. And what do they need to show? That they're strong. So when they are frontally, right, when they're out there publicly, right, there's a big thing. I think when the inaugural address, most presidents don't wear a coat at the inaugural address because it's like a sign of weakness. They want to show that the president is playing sports and he's out there. So Haman wants to show the nation that he could be king. So what am I going to do? Put the clothes on me and let me parade around Shushan, and people will see me as the king. I don't even want new clothes. I want hand-me-downs of what the king wore himself. And I want not a new horse. I want a new car. I want a car that was already used by the king. That people directly associate me with king. Haman equals king. And give me the crown of my head. By the way, if you're the Achashverosh, are you going to say yes to this? This is crazy. As much as you are maybe a weakling and don't like to make decisions on your own, this is like such a poor idea. V'nason halavush v'asos ayad mi ish misarei hamelech hapartimim hilbishu et haish asher hamelech havetz bikaro. And you'll give him somebody to walk, right? Everybody should be in kingly garments. The horse should be dressed up the right way, and the person walking the horse should be dressed up the right way. And you'll parade him around the Rechov Ha'ir, the streets of the city, and people should walk around and say, Kacha ye'aseh la'ish asher melech hafetz bikaro. Kacha ye'aseh la'ish. This is what we do for the people that the king loves so much and desires so badly. Okay. We know that Achashverosh is going to say yes. Whether this is for Mordechai or this is for Haman, it's just a terrible idea, right? It's a terrible idea. But nonetheless, Achashverosh is going to go through with it. Should notice when you're learning the Megillah this year that Achashverosh never makes a decision on his own. He never comes up with ideas on his own either. Everything is done by other people. So we're going to stop here for today. Bezrat Hashem, next week we will continue the drama. Everyone knows how it unfolds, but it's important to learn the psukim and the details that so often we miss when we look at the big picture. When you look at and zoom in on one or two prakim, you're able to appreciate the nuances in the story and how the chess pieces and how they move this story forward.
Rabbi,
wonderful day. Yeah.